Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and today I'm really excited to bring you fabulous festive collection dies from our friends at Creative Expressions. So today we're going to play with 4 different cutting die collections. We have Evergreen Branches, Twin Holly Sprays, a triple layer poinsettia, and a really sweet winter foliage. Now these dies can be used on their own or in lots of different combinations with one another, and they are perfect for quick, easy, and elegant Christmas cards. I have 4 card projects that I want to share with you today, and these cards are all going to use papers from the Christmas Sparkle paper pack. Now this collection has 12 sheets of 12 by 12 pattern paper. They are double-sided, so you've got double the fun, and they have a beautiful classic Christmas style. Now, another really fun thing in this paper pack is that you will get a sheet of Gold Sparkles holographic cardstock. Now, you will get a true 12 by 12 inch sheet. You can see that I've used quite a lot of my piece of holographic cardstock, and that I am saving every last little bit of it because it is so very useful for Christmas cards. And we'll take a look at how to incorporate that with our dies and our papers as well. So as you can see, we have a lot to explore today, and I am so very glad you're here. Come play with us. Let's start with the Evergreen Branches die. Now, this set has 4 dies, 2 large and 2 small branches, and they are facing different directions. Now, I have to tell you that this collection has quickly become one of my go-to die sets, just for adding that extra something to a card focal. And I think you'll see what I mean when we get into the card projects later in the webisode. Now, while these are technically designed for Christmas, I wouldn't say that they are limited to Christmas or even really to winter in general. So do keep them in mind for your everyday cards as well. So the large of the Evergreen Branches is about 3.5 inches by 2 inches going across, and the small is 2.5 inches by 1 3/4. Now, as with real Evergreen Branches, you can also trim them down so that you can get some smaller elements as well. So I've die cut these from classic green cardstock, as you might think, with an evergreen die, but I also wanted to show you, I'm going to flip this over so that you can see what these look like when you die cut them from that beautiful gold metallic holographic cardstock. It's so pretty and delicate and just adds a really nice accent to your cards. Now, I don't think the white is really doing these justice, so I'm going to bring in some of the green pattern paper. This is from the Christmas paper pack. And if I'm just putting these 2 down, maybe tucking them into the corner, if I might add, let's see, I've got a die cut sentiment here. This is also from Creative Expressions. And maybe I'll just pop a bow here up at the top. You can see the beginning to a really nice handmade card. So the green looks really pretty, but of course, since we know that these papers are all double-sided, I'll flip this over and we'll take a look at how we could incorporate this into that beautiful border. So I might just, again, use the very same card layout and adhere those right up in the corner, and you can see how pretty and dimensional that is as well. So that's on a border patterned paper, and I've got one more that I want to show you. So this is a really pretty tone-on-tone design. Again, I'll pop my die cut sentiment down and tuck my evergreen branches up here, and then maybe again use that same green bow, and you can see that no matter what pattern paper you're working with, whether it's an all-over design or kind of a faux texture or even a border, you can create some really beautiful motifs just with a quick little accent of that Evergreen Branch die collection. So you can see where this has really become a fast favorite for me. So that's the Evergreen Branches. So I'm going to put this away, and I will also bring in another set. This is the Winter Foliage. Now this is another one that is just a really, really useful collection. So here you're going to have 2 pieces of foliage. Now here you've got the large, which is 2 3/4 inch by 2 1/4 inch. And the small is 2 inches by 1 1/2. And again, you can also trim these down as well. Here you will also have some berries that you can use as accents if you want to on this. Now, as with the Evergreen, you can definitely use this set throughout the year. So I'm going to show you what happened when I had a happy accident. So I die cut these from some of the pattern paper in the Christmas paper pack collection, and they look really beautiful. I think this is just perfect for the winter foliage. But when I flipped them over, I realized the portion of the pattern paper that I had cut from, which has a really beautiful border design, this also looks quite pretty and maybe a bit more modern or abstract, but I think that this could definitely be used for all occasion cards as well. The next die set I want to show you is the Twin Holly Sprays. Now this is a really versatile design, and it can be used as a focal or as an accent piece. You'll have 2 sprays, and of course they're also facing different directions for some additional variety. Now these measure 3.5 inches long by about 1.5 inches going across on the widest point. You can use them as they are. You can also do some layering with the berry accents that are also included in this set. And you can go for a really traditional look, as I've done here with just plain red berries. You can also go for a little bit more modern twist. And here I've got some bright pink berries and some bright green cardstock just backing those leaves. So you've got lots of different options for different styles that you can do with this collection. And I wanted to show you just a quick layering process, and we'll put together a very quick and easy card. So here you can see I've die cut the spray from black cardstock and then die cut the same spray from that beautiful metallic holographic cardstock. Now for the gold, I have left in the innies of the leaves. So you can see here that I've popped them out, but here I've left them in. And I found that in order to do that, I've just run this shape through my die cutting machine forward and back. And that will give me a nice crisp outline, but it will also keep those leaves in. And you might even use a little bit of tape on the back just to make sure that those all stay in there. Then just grab a pair of scissors and snip off those leaves so that you've got the extra pieces here. I like to leave on a little bit of the berry there so that when I glue the gold behind the black, there's something to adhere that glue onto. So then you'll just glue this behind each one of those leaves. And I do recommend that you use the Cosmic Acrylic glue for this because you have a really fine tip on there and it will make things a little bit easier. And after you do that on your leaves, and if you add the berries on there, as you can see, you'll have a really beautiful accent piece that looks like this. Super easy to use this on the front of a card. So I'll bring in a card front that I have covered with some of the pattern paper from the Christmas collection. And I've cut it just slightly smaller than that card front. I inked around the outside edges using the metallic pigment ink pad from Spectrum Noir. Now, because this is a pigment ink, you do want to make sure that the edges are dry before you glue it down to the front of your card, just to avoid any smearing on there. So I've got the beautiful poinsettias on here. I think I'll come back with this die cut sentiment that I used before. And I'm going to make it easy on myself and pop in some of those beautiful evergreen branches. Why not? And then put down my twin holly spray, just one of the holly sprays. And I've got my green bow on here and can pop that down, glue everything in place, and I have a very quick and very easy card that really takes advantage of some of those beautiful pattern papers and how easy it is to create a really striking corner treatment here and a really bold and beautiful message as well. So that's the Twin Holly Sprays collection. I've got one more to show you, which is the triple layer poinsettia. You may remember some of the other triple layer die collections that we've used in past webisodes, and the triple layer poinsettia works in exactly the same way. It's such a fun concept. And you can see from this collection that you've got 3 different sizes of poinsettias for layering up. The large is about 2.5 inches, the medium is 2 inches, and the small is 1 3/4 of an inch. So they can each be used individually or to create a bouquet. Now you've also got 2 leaves, a large and a small, which are also in the triple layer style too. Now with this die set, you also have project ideas on the inside, so you are never at a loss for some inspiration. So let's take a look at the layering process and what these look like when they are all layered up. So you can see here the 3 different sizes of dies, small, medium, and large. And you can also see the 3 layers of cardstock that I've got on here. So essentially what you're going to do is die cut each of the shapes by nesting them one into the other. So you'll first die cut using your silhouette die. Then you're going to take your inside die, the medium or the middle die, put this into the silhouette, secure the 2 down together with a little bit of masking tape maybe or washi tape. Run this through your die cutting machine to get your middle layer. And then you'll simply repeat the process with the detail layer just by popping that in. Again, secure it with some tape and run it through your die cutting machine. And you will have your base piece, middle piece, and detail piece. And then in this case, you also have the little flower center on here as well, so that you will create something that looks like this. Now you can go for a tone-on-tone look, or you can mix and match, use some contrasting cardstock. You can, of course, use any of the layers individually or layer up any 2 of the layers to create a different effect. The leaves are going to work the same way. You have a base piece, the middle, and then also the detail layer on there as well. Quick and easy to do and great as focal elements or to create an accent piece on your cards or on your scrapbook pages as well. So now that you have seen all the dies in today's webisode, let's take a look at some of the cards you can create using them. I have 4 card projects to share with you today, and these cards are going to be using, of course, our Creative Expressions dies and our beautiful pattern papers, as well as lots of dazzles. So our first card project features the triple layer poinsettias, and you can see the 3 layers that I've used on this large poinsettia. So here I've die cut the base piece from white cardstock. I've also die cut the top detail layer from white, and then the center layer is cut from gold metallic. Now in this case, when I glue the elements together, I first glued down the base piece onto my card front, and then I glued the top 2 layers together and adhered them on top of the base piece with some foam tape. And I actually kind of offset this a little bit so that I have kind of a shadow effect and a little bit more dimension. So that's with the triple layer effect. With the smaller poinsettias, I've just used 2 layers. So I've got the base piece in gold metallic and I have the detail layer in white. And the leaves are also just done in 2 layers with green pattern paper and then gold metallic as the top layer on there. And I think this really allows the gold sparkle paper to shine, and I like how it coordinates with the gold printed onto the background paper. I've also tucked in some of the evergreen branches, of course. You can see how versatile they are when just die cut from plain white cardstock. Now I've also added some dazzles borders at the top and the bottom, and you may notice that these are 2 different designs. So remember, you can mix and match your borders as well. And the finishing touch is the dazzles sentiment that I've adhered just down here at the bottom of the card. Now our second card is also using the poinsettia, and this time I've die cut just 1 in 2 layers, so the gold metallic and then kind of a burgundy as the detail layer on here. I've also used the evergreen branches, as you can see, as well as the winter foliage, and these 2 have been die cut from paper from the pattern paper collection. And you can also see the twin holly spray, just 1 of them in here as well, die cut from that gold metallic. And all together they create a really effective corner treatment, and the arrangement helps to lead your eye right to the die cut sentiment. Now the sentiment is another die from Creative Expressions. It's a mini expressions, and I've die cut this from the gold sparkle cardstock. The edges of my card are inked with that gold pigment ink pad just to add another touch of shine. Of course, I've got another one of those border dazzles on here as well. Now, the third card project is also featuring the twin holly sprays cut from gold sparkle cardstock. And in this case, I have left the innies in the leaves as we looked at before with the earlier demo. So I've die cut the berries to add a little bit of contrast, just to kind of brighten it up on this otherwise tone-on-tone design. Now the leaves have foam squares underneath so that the pieces are lifted up from the background, again to add a little bit of dimension. More dazzles as my borders this time too that coordinate. And then also a dazzle sentiment here and a little bit of green ribbon. So the last card project is a really simple and great way to make the most of that beautiful background paper. So the poinsettia paper is inked with gold, and then it's centered on the green covered card front. And you can see the inking around the edges of the card as well as this pattern paper piece here. I placed down a wide dazzle border onto some contrasting paper from the Christmas set, and then created a really simple motif with the evergreen branches and with the winter foliage. Now with the winter foliage, what you can see is that it's actually two die cut pieces and they are glued slightly offset for a shadow effect. So I have the green and it's glued right on top of a white piece of winter foliage. I added the berries in gold using the winter foliage berries for both the winter foliage as they're designed to go with, as well as the evergreen piece. And then I've got some really soft, pretty ribbon here and a little dazzle sentiment down at the bottom. And with this last card, I think you have seen just a few of the possibilities for using these versatile dies from Creative Expressions. And I know that you're going to come up with so many more great ways to put them to use. And maybe not just for Christmas, but for year-long card making too. I am so very glad that you've joined me today, and I can hardly wait to see what you create. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being a part of the Paper Wishes family. We're really glad that you're here with us. Be sure to leave us a comment because we'd also love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com.